First and foremost, without him, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the opportunity to share this time with you. And just because of that, I just want to start by going into a piece of scripture, if you don't mind. Uh, what you need used to do this a lot, but not so very much often. I just want to just break this down a little bit. Something called in the book of Mark, there's this piece of scripture. It goes something like this, okay? It goes something like this. So Jesus was hanging out with uh, he was hanging out in the home of a guy who used to be a leper. Guy had leprosy. Jesus healed him. His name was Simon. And they were eating some food. And a woman came in with a very, very expensive box of perfume. In fact, the box was made out of alabaster, which is a very, very, very expensive wood. And she broke the seal on the box and she poured the perfume on Jesus's head. It's kind of crazy. Just emptied the whole perfume on his head, as if she was like anointing him or whatever. And some of the people that were at the table while they was eating, they got angry. They said, "Why is this expensive perfume wasted? She could have sold this perfume for a small fortune and given the money to the poor." And they rebuked her and scorned her harshly. But Jesus replied, "Leave her alone. Why are you attacking her for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, and you can help them whenever you want to. But I will not always be here, not with you for much longer. She has done what she could and has anointed my body for burial ahead of time. I assure you, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deed will be talked about in her memory." That woman was Mary Magdalene. She used to be a prostitute or a harlot, and they caught her in the act of doing so. A bunch of Jewish people dragged her up to Jesus and said, "This woman should be stoned for fornication." And Jesus said, "Well, all right, cool. If you think so, the person who is without sin, who didn't fornicate with her, throw the first stone." And they all left one by one. And Jesus said, just left her there. And she was like, Jesus. And in the Eastern world, they still do this to this day. They stone women who are harlots, right? And anyway, they left one by one. And then Jesus looked while he was teaching. He looked back and just saw her alone by herself. And he said, "Woman, where are your accusers?" And she said, "They left." He said, "Well, if they ain't accusing you, then neither do I. Just go and sin no more." And that's where this woman, Mary Magdalene, she changed. From there on in, just that was it. She was done with that kind of life, and she started following Jesus. Now, they, of course, because of her reputation and whatever, they took a jab at her because she just took this expensive, box of perfume, very expensive box of perfume. This is like a fortune, and broke it on top of his head and let the perfume come down him. Now, as Jesus said, she was anointed my body for burial. Mary Magdalene started operating in the spirit a lot. And she used to sit down and listen to Jesus teach and talk while her sister Martha would do most of the work. She would Martha be working. And Mary became this person who really used to follow Jesus and also help out, with whatever duties, because there was a bunch of women who used to help Jesus with various things, and she was one of them. Anyways, long short of it is, her life was transformed. So the life she used to live and all of that stuff, she was done with that. She left all that behind and started following Jesus. Kind of like with the disciples, how they just kind of left everything behind and followed Jesus as well. And they used to be astonished at his teaching. She was the same way. And But the Holy Spirit used to move her to do things that seemed contrary to everybody else. And so, they didn't think much of her. A lot of people still thought of her reputation, so they didn't think much of her, and they always try to put her down because they saw her as less than. You know what I mean? But that's the weird thing about God. God will work, His Spirit will work through people who you consider less than. That's why, Jesus said, to the least of these, my brethren, you do unto me. It's really true. The person you least esteem in your mind is the person God might use to teach you something. You know what I mean? So I want to share that scripture today. Bear that in mind, therefore, keep an open eye. And don't put people down, because sometimes God got big things for them to do. And you might miss out on it because you look at them a certain way. All right, let's get to it. So, this coming week, Jerome Eniss is going to be facing, I believe it is, Roman Villa. Roman Villa was the guy that beat a Speedy Gonzalez, right? Speedy Gonzalez? Not Gonzalez. What was his name? Not Gonzalez. Speedy. Anyway, his nickname Speedy, right? He actually was, Jerome Eniss and him was going back and forth about facing each other. It's not Gonzalez. I forgot what his name is. But anyway, excuse my yawn. But anyway, Jerome Eniss is facing that guy instead of facing, I forgot what his name is. That's so terrible. Man, I should remember his name, but I can't remember his name. If you guys know, put it in the chat section. Put his name in the chat section if you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, Roman Villa, he beat him. I think he dropped him once, and he really hurt him a lot in the fight. The dude was outboxing him most of the fight, but he dropped him, I think, twice in the final round. Didn't get him out of there, but he managed to stay. Forgot what his name is. Anyways, that guy, Roman Villa, is going to be facing Jerome Eniss this weekend. And on, I believe, Top Rank, Virgil Ortiz is going to be facing Stannionis. We got two combustible fights. They're not pay-per-view fights, but they're combustible fights, exciting fights, all-action fights. And for this weekend, what are my predictions? I do predict that Jerome Eniss will beat Roman Villa. May stop him late because Roman Villa keep on coming. But Roman Villa is a very tough guy. He's very strong, he's very tough, so he should be bringing the heat. He got a bit of boxing skill. Not the quickest guy in the world, but he's sound to some degree. He still gets hit with shots, but he's sound. With respect to, but he's tough. That's the thing. He's a tough dude. With Stannionis versus Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz. I'm not too sure who I lean to in this one. I want to say Virgil Ortiz, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to hold off on my prediction for that one. But it's going to be a banger. Both are going to be bangers. And guarantee that nonstop action should be good fights. So I'm looking forward to that. And this weekend, if you guys got a prediction, put your predictions again down in the chat section, in the comment section. By the way, at the end of this video, not during this video, but at the end of this video, if you want to donate to my channel, you can donate via PayPal. I'll put it in the comment section at the end of this stream. So not going to be able to donate in the stream, but if you really want to donate at the end of the stream, you can always donate. Let me talk about some other nice topics. You have Alicia Baumgartner. She's going to be fighting this weekend. No, not this weekend. Next weekend, actually, the 15th. And she's going to be facing Liton Tardu, who also faced Katie Taylor, as well as Delphine Persoon. Delphine Persoon, I believe she faced her at super featherweight because, of course, Alicia Baumgartner is at super featherweight. But she faced Katie Taylor at junior welterweight or super lightweight. So that's interesting. She went up and down weight there. Liton Tardu is a good fighter. I think Baumgartner should be able to get the victory over her, so I can make that prediction right now. Baumgartner should take that fight, but you never know, right? But Liton Tardu is a good fighter. After seeing the throwdown between oh my goodness, at 168 anyway. I can't believe I forgot their names. This is so crazy. But because I'm trying to think on the fly here. It's because I'm trying to think on the fly. I didn't got all my information. Um, Clarissa Shields faced, you know who I'm talking about. The tall girls is now undisputed. Uh, I can't remember nobody's. I just drawing a blank at that guys. But that throwdown anyway over the weekend just passed. That was wicked. I was listening to Sean Porter and he was talking about how, he fought that the former undisputed champion, she fought a bit sloppy and stuff. I didn't see that. I saw them throwing down nukes. You know what I mean? I seen them. I mean, I don't want to get hit by none of them. You know what I mean? But I would love to see those three mix it up. Shields, the champion right now and the former champion. I would love to see them mix it up under, maybe have a rematch or a trilogy, whatever. It looks good. This is heating. Women's boxing is heating up, y'all. So that's why I mentioned Alicia Baumgardner defending her title. I think the unified title. So I just wanted to throw in that. Now, okay, let's talk about now Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez. I was hearing that, some people think this is a very competitive fight. Some people give Charlo like 30% chance of winning, 70-30. I'm going to say this again. This is a very, very winnable fight for Jermell Charlo. Very winnable fight. It all comes down to the feet. Okay, it all comes down to the feet. The feet's what gets you in a position or not. Jermell Charlo's feet. It's very active feet. He has really good foot cardio. He has great cardio. Like I said before, he is about the same size as Jermell Charlo. He hasn't had the experience of fighting at that high weight class against guys in actual bouts, but that really ain't gonna make a difference, as you will see. Come fight now, he'll be ready for Canelo. He'll be ready to handle Canelo's power and everything. And he has defense and all of that, and he rides punches and everything. So I don't really see Mel Charlo having a problem. Now, I heard my boy Ant say on the Porterway podcast that, he thinks that Mel is actually not as good a boxer as Mal. That is nonsense. Mel is a much better boxer than Mal. I'll say it again. Mel's a much better boxer than Mal. Can do way more things. He's way more skilled. Mal is more fundamentally, for Mal goes behind his jab, uses all the jabs and stuff. Good footwork and everything again, but jab, very athletic and all that. But Mel works off his jab. Mal works off his jab. Mel can use the jab. He can lead with the right hand. He can do so many different things. All right, he can lead with a leaping left hook. Mel's a guy that I think is the better boxer by far, by miles. Even before Mel was knocking out people left, right, and center, Mel was just really was really pretty. So Mel knows how to box. Mel knows how to do a lot of things. Even though Tony Harrison beat Mel, and Tony Harrison fought a hell of a fight, that fight where he beat Mel, I gotta say, Mel, skill-wise, smart-wise, in terms of pretty to look at, power. Mel got power now. Mel got it all. Mel is the full package, man. And Errol Spence, like I said before, is a guy talking about after he's finished with 147 pounds, he want to go up to 160, 168. Then, come on, man. Spence is smaller than Mel. Mel been killing himself trying to make 154, being exercising. So he's going to blow up to 168 easy. He's going to be comfortable at 168. Trust me. Trust me on this. Because remember, Mel's first weight class is 154. He's been there forever. So, he should have been at 160 since Mal. So going up to 168, like Mal's about to go up to 168 in a bit. Well, Mel's about to go up to 160. He's just going to skip some steps. Mel's about the same size as Mal, walk around. You know what I mean? He just had to sacrifice more to stay at 154. You know what I mean? So no, I don't see, and I truly believe Mel is much a better fighter. He's also the more aggressive fighter. He's a more tenacious fighter. He wants it more. He wants, he would take the risk. He would take the chances more than Mel. More than Mal. Mal's more laid back. Mal's a guy, like you can see, he not really pushing for nothing. He just trying to let things come to him. Whereas Mel wants to be great. Like Mel, this is a very winnable fight for Mel. Mel don't play. Mel don't just talk out his ass. Mel knows he can beat Canelo. Okay, Mel wanted that Canelo fight from way, way back. And I'm telling you right now, Mel knows he can beat Canelo. It had nothing to do with Canelo slowing down, nothing. Styles make fights. And Mel's feet, like Bevo's feet, Plant's feet, but Plant don't got the chin. You know what I mean? Not even the chin. Plant, his conditioning not the best. He's got to put pressure on him. You get him with a good body shot, Plant, he kind of fails a little bit, fit wilts, and you know what? Mel's a better fighter than Plant. He can do a lot more than Plant. He's a much more seasoned than Plant. He's been a world champion for so long. Out of all of them, man, even Benavidez, I see Canelo beating Benavidez because of his footwork. I can't see, I'm telling you right now, Mel, I don't see Canelo just beating Mel like that. Of all the people, that Canelo could face, Mel is the greatest challenge right now. I'm telling y'all right now. I know it sounds crazy, but Mel, boxing-wise, boxing knowledge-wise, Mel's the greatest challenge right now. Right? And it ain't as much as y'all. Y'all thinking size? Nah, don't think about size like that. I'm telling you, Mel gonna surprise everybody when he beat Canelo. I'm just saying, but I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. That's a risky fight for Canelo. I can tell you that right now. And Bernard Hopkins agrees with me, and he should. Anyways, people, I got one more thing to talk about: Devin Haney versus Shakur. But I'm gonna have to do a pause right now, so we're on pause. Hold up, we on pause. Let me get this. We on pause. Come on now. What the hell, man? Okay, my feed is now breaking up. Man. You tell me I really have to shut this thing down to start it back up? You're going to behave like a real clown now? We be streaming all the time good. You're going to behave like a clown now? Okay. Yeah, so let me talk about Devin Haney versus Shakur. So, for some reason, Shakur will not activate the mandatory clause. He's trying to negotiate with Devin Haney. Devin Haney's telling him, hey, I'm saying 75-25. Shakur saying, that's too low. Send me another offer. Haney's like, that 25% is more than you'll ever get, bro. Ever again in your career. Shakur's like, that's too low. Simon Haney's ducking him. And he's gonna move on. Haney's like, look, man. If you want to smoke, activate your mandatory. If Shakur really want that fight with Devin, he need to activate that mandatory. If he's serious. If you want that fight with Devin, you gotta make him have to fight you. Activate your mandatory. The time is now for Shakur. He got Devin. This is mandatory. This is your chance to be undisputed. Make him fight you. Don't tell him about no duck. If you ain't activate no mandatory, make him vacate. Make him look like he's ducking. The question to Shakur is this. Do you really want that fight? You're posturing and you're chirping and you're chirping and you're posturing. But do you really want that fight? If so, you have to make your team, Mr. Bob Arum and Jay Prince, you have to make them get you that fight. But you don't look like you really want that fight. You're just talking to try and persuade people, but you're not doing the things necessary to make sure that fight happens. Because Devin Haney can't duck you unless if you activate the mandatory, now he has to vacate the titles, and then you can say he's ducking you. If you didn't activate your mandatory, he made an offer to you, whether it's low ball or not, activate your mandatory and make it go to the purse and carry it the whole way. Don't play with it. Make him force his hand. Just as you did Oscar Valdez, just as you did Jamal Herring. So why are you playing around? September, October is right around the corner. We're in the month of July. There's a month of August, September, October. If you're playing around, you're not serious about it, by the time October, November comes around, you'll be out of time. If you're serious about it, you ain't got no fight, he ain't got no fight. Make it happen. Devin Haney is not about cloud chasing. Again, I highly doubt Bob Arum will allow Shakur to face Devin. Not at this time. In spite of the fact that Devin is undisputed. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Shakur beats Devin. Bob Arum has the undisputed title. But that would call for a rematch if Devin wants it. To rematch Shakur. Devin's a free agent right now. He could re-sign with Top Rank to fight Shakur. If they really want that fight, if Shakur really want that fight, or just clout chasing, if he really want that fight could happen. Same thing. He could really get a fight right now with Martin. Martin will love that fight. Shakur talking like he want all the smoke, but he protected by Jay Prince and Bob Arum. He can say whatever he want. He could talk reckless as much as he want. If his team ain't doing nothing, right? It don't mean nothing. Let's ask the question. Who did Shakur face at 135? Who? A Japanese kid? Like, really? That's somebody? And the referee had to stop that fight. Shakur didn't knock the guy out. The referee stopped the fight because Shakur was beating up the guy too much. That guy's not Devin Haney. Or anyone Devin Haney has faced. So, Shakur's a skilled individual, but we don't know how he looked, and this is what Bob Arum is thinking, as well as Jay Prince. They don't know how he look against Devin Haney. They're hyping him up. Oh yeah, Shakur beat everybody. I think they're hyping him up. That's cool. Supposed to do that. He's not like Charlo, who dominated a weight class and then moved up. And now he's looking to move up to face Canelo. We know what Jamel brings to the table. Shakur has not been tested like Mel. Crawford, we saw for 3 division what he do. Faced some reasonably good fighters and world champions. Shakur's faced 2 champions in his whole entire career. Haney has faced 5. Way more experience at the very highest level of lightweight. Way more experience. I'm smart enough to understand what's going on. And so is Jay Prince. Shakur could just chirp. Talk about Haney ducking him. Funny. You just came to lightweight. You ain't done nothing. But Haney's ducking you. Seriously, man. Haney, the undisputed champion, who just finished facing Lomachenko, Kambosos, Linares, Diaz, back-to-back fights. He afraid to face you. Please. Ninja, please. You ain't done nothing. But you're chirping as if Haney afraid of you. For what? Why he afraid of you? What are you going to bring to the table that he ain't seen before? If he's so afraid of you, come after him. Make him fight you. It's about making the fights. But when you start talking like you talking, as if you did everything in your power to do something, but you're really hiding behind Jay Prince and Bob Arum because they know you ain't ready. They know you ain't ready. There's a lot of hype around you, like Jared Anderson. You got a lot of hype behind you, but they know where you really at. Top Rank know where you really at. Because you never faced no Devin Haney in the pros with 8-ounce gloves. You ain't never faced no Tank in the pros with 8-ounce gloves. And you know this. You ain't even faced a Lomachenko in the pros. And don't tell me about sparring. Don't tell me about sparring. It's cool that you spar Lomachenko and all of that. That's not the Lomachenko that comes in the ring. Devin Haney learned that. It's a different Lomachenko when he come in the ring. A big grown-ass man. You a little boy compared to that grown-ass man. He could rough you up in there. A real fight is different to sparring. And again, I ain't got nothing against, Shakur chirping and chirping. Don't even try to say Devin Haney ducking you. What kind of insult is that? Devin Haney's right now trying to make the fight with you. He would beat you. I'm saying it right now. I'd say to Shakur's face, Devin Haney would come and he'll beat your ass. He'll beat you. You get in practice against a certain level of opponent. That's why they match you up like that. They know what you're capable of doing. Okay? So be quiet. Let them move you along. You ain't ready for no Haney fight. Get out of here. I don't care what Bud said. But there will be a time when you will be ready for him. But it ain't now. Why do you think Haney and they trying to get in a fight with you? Haney and Bill know you full of shit. That's why they ain't bothering. They just like, you chirp. You the only guy chirping. Bubba Aram ain't doing shit. And Jay Prince trying to humor you. He right now just trying to humor you. You ain't getting that fight. And you know that. You're not aggressive enough. You talking, but you ain't acting. Should have done something to take up that mandatory or force Devin Haney to have to defend. Then y'all had to go purse bid or whatever. I don't like clout chasing, man. If you're serious about it, get to it. Shakur be chirping. They can't get his handlers. He can't get his handlers to commit. You got to convince your handlers, Shakur, that you could handle this fight and beat Haney easy. You got to convince them of that. Because as much as your fans and all the other fans think Shakur beat Devin Haney easy, your handlers don't believe that. They've been in boxing long enough to know that a guy who's an undisputed champion like Devin Haney ain't easy to beat. That's why nobody just step into Devin Haney like that. Nobody, not even Tank. When they flip the coin for Tank to face Devin or Shakur, they got Shakur. Tank ain't looking for no smoke from Devin. So all this talk and, Devin's a villain and blah, blah, blah. Just stop the bullshit, man. The man's an undisputed champion. Everybody should be coming at his ass. He undisputed. Shakur trying to pretend like I'm a real one. I'm going to come at his ass. But you ain't ready. And your handlers know you ain't ready. And if what you need is the only person who has to say that, to cut through the nonsense that's out there, then I'm going to say it. He ain't ready. Just like how Jared Anderson is not ready for Deontay Wilder. He's not ready for John Ruiz. He ain't ready. He's just a prospect. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean in 2-3 years he won't be ready. But don't make it sound like, he can take on Deontay Wilder. He can take on this guy right now. He can't take him on right now. Let's be realistic. Shakur's a hell of a fighter. But he ain't got the experience to handle a Devin Haney. Devin Haney be matched tough since Jorge Linares. All right? He been trying to get the smoke with everybody. You know who Shakur should face? Jorge Linares. Go ahead, Shakur. Face Jorge. Jorge need an opponent. Why doesn't Top Rank give Jorge Linares that fight? He a dangerous fighter. Shakur slip up once. Jorge gonna take advantage of it. You saw it with Devin Haney. Let's see how Shakur can do against Jorge. That's the guy we need to be talking about. Jorge take that fight in a heartbeat. Shakur need to be in there with a couple crafty veterans. They're talking about Shakur versus Loma. All right. But Devin faced Loma coming off wins. You gonna put Shakur in there with Loma coming off a loss? Come on, man. Is that right? So what? Shakur can say, he did better job than Devin. Yeah, but Loma's coming off a loss, Ninja. Y'all ninjas need to get your act together, man. Y'all ninjas need to get your act together. A lot of people don't know shit about boxing. They try to co-sign things without even thinking. All you gotta look at is the experience between Devin Haney and Shakur. They're about round about the same. So the skill sets, how they go about things. Shakur's more refined. Devin Haney tries to go for more power. You can see he's working on his game. You can see Devin's developing his game still. Shakur's more precise. But Devin's a beast. And with the style Devin has, he would beat Shakur right now because of the competition he's had. Because he knows a lot more nuanced things in his fighting. A little tricks from the veterans. Shakur ain't really got that in his arsenal. He got set plays and stuff. But he gonna have to make adjustments with Devin. A lot of adjustments. He's sharp. But Devin going from those last couple of fights that Devin has had, Devin's learned a lot of stuff. So that's what Bobby Am is thinking about. He don't want to just risk everything and lose all the belts when he could just have Shakur be undefeated. Devin's going to vacate. He's going to move up because Tank ain't going to face him. They all fronting, but they don't want to face this guy. Tank's not going to face Devin. And then these punks out there, they be saying, well, if Devin don't face Tank, this is back and front of reasoning. But anyway, if Devin don't face Tank, then he duck Tank to go face Regis Prograis. First of all, Tank ain't the champion. Second of all, Devin called out Tank multiple times. Okay? Multiple times. Devin told y'all he would stay at lightweight for a fight with Tank and with Shakur. But he ain't gonna stay down there forever. So if the deadline will be August, meaning Devin usually fight in October. So if by August, these so-called guys that Devin is ducking don't make a deal with him and get it finished by August, you need at least 2 months to train for a fight. How is he going to face them in October? No, he'll have to move up. He has to, in fact, he has to make that decision before this month's over, because if he wants to fight again in October this year, he need to have something in print by the end of this month. So these guys dilly-dallying and talking all kinds of crap like Shakur, making us feel like he really want that work. But his team ain't serious about that. Y'all wasting our time. Right? We already know Devin gonna go up and face Regis Prograis. And I'm gonna say this, Regis Prograis is way more dangerous than Shakur in terms of power. Okay? Shakur can't knock out a fly. We all know this already. He beat you up real bad, but he can't knock out a fly. Right? So we're compared to Regis Prograis. Let me put it that way. He does have power, but I mean, compared to Regis Prograis, he's a young guy anyway. He's young. Okay, them guys young. They ain't growing to the man strength yet, so we don't know. Right? But the point is, Regis Prograis could wreck Devin Haney. I mean, he got the power to do it. Okay, and he was going there to try to hurt Devin Haney. We know Shakur ain't going in there to try to hurt nobody. He might try, but you know, right? Then Shakur ain't that, he not bigger than Devin. Devin's huge and long. So if Devin decided to box Shakur have to close the distance, which means he got to walk into shit. All right? So, I mean, just all around, Devin versus Shakur is a very interesting fight. But at this point in time, if Devin and Shakur sign a deal, I pick Devin to win him. I got Devin beating him. at this point in time. Okay. Shakur has the reputation for being somebody who people think, would beat everybody. But, and of course, Bud endorses that and so on. Shakur is, of course, Bud's guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to use some French here. Shakur ain't fucking with Devin right now. Neither is Tank. That's why their fights aren't made. Devin's the willing party. Devin wants to fight them two guys. He said either of those two guys can get it. But they bucking. Shakur right now has no fight in front of him. And this motherfucker is not trying to pursue a fight with Devin. He should have grabbed that mandatory thing one time and be trying to enforce shit. He should be pressuring Devin. He's not pressuring Devin. He talking. He talk a lot. You got to get your team. You got to convince your team. Hey, man, if Bob Arum, let me tell you, man, if Bob Arum felt that Shakur could 100% beat Devin Haney, that would be the next fight made. Bob Arum would be talking, man. Bob Arum would be chirping like crazy. There's the fight that need to be made, and blah, 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 blah. Bob Arum ain't saying shit. Bob Arum isn't saying shit. Bob ain't trying to promote that because Bob Arum's a guy, he need to be 100% certain that his guy can win to make a fight. You all know this. That's why Bob Arum ain't saying shit. And of course, he wants Devin Haney to sign back with Top Rank as well. So, if Bob Arum ain't saying shit about that fight ain't happening. Well, if you hear Bob Arum start to chirp, though, if you see Bob Arum start to talk, definitely that fight could happen. He ain't saying shit, that fight ain't happening. Okay, and Bill and Devin told y'all that. Right? He's not 100% sold that Shakur could beat Devin at this point in time. He knows it. Right? So, telling me about, amateurs and shit like that. Nobody cares about the amateurs. This is the pros. All right? All right, so going back to some other and sparring sessions. Come on, please, man. The other thing I want to say is Devin versus Regis Prograis. If that fight gets ironed out and that fight is next, it's a hell of a fight. That's a hell of a fight. I favor Devin to beat Regis Prograis, but that's a hell of a fight. Regis Prograis ain't no joke. And like I said before, he fighting to hurt you. Okay, he's fighting to hurt you. And he's skillful, he's smart. Gets hit a bit too much, but he's skillful, he's smart. Okay? I wouldn't say it's a better fight than Tank. Tank's a bigger fight. So if Devin can land that Tank fight, which that's a big money fight, that's a huge money fight. And, that's like a Canelo fight. And Tank pay-per-view numbers, just took off. So, Devin versus Tank would really take off. That would be even a bigger pay-per-view than Ryan versus Tank, because Tank now is the pay-per-view cash cow for the lower weight divisions. Okay? But here's the back for front of the reason I can't understand. The undisputed champ is not supposed to call out anybody. Right? Tank's supposed to call out Devin. But Devin been calling out Tank. He's been mentioning Tank's name. You got to be out of your goddamn mind if you think that Devin would pass up an offer to face Tank. Devin wouldn't pass up that offer. You nuts? Are you crazy? He wouldn't pass that up. Right? Be the cash cow boxing. The only way Devin would pass that up is if these motherfuckers take too long and they talking about next year and all this bullshit. Because Devin told y'all he gonna stay at lightweight for the duration of this year. But if that for only two guys, he specified it. He was great, just like Aaron Spence, laid it out. Right? Two guys, Tank and Shakur. Shakur just be talking. He not serious. That's why Devin ain't taking him on. Because he's full of shit. He should have, in fact, it should have enacted his mandatory opportunity. He didn't do that shit. So he not really about it. He just about punking right now. He about clout chasing. Tank in prison. If Tank can get out before the end of August, maybe they can make that fight happen. But all this chirping by Tank's team ain't nothing. You know, they could have arranged that thing before Tank went into prison. You know what I'm saying? Then they're gonna make the excuse, well, Tank was in prison, so he needed to adjust and blah blah. Maybe January next year. They're gonna try and push it back. And Devin ain't into that clown games. He just move up and do what he gotta do. And dispel the belts. All right? But the fact that Devin would go in with Regis Prograis, who's supposed to be this big puncher, tells you he don't give a, he not afraid of Tank. Right? He don't have no problem with Tank. And most people believe he would beat Tank. That's because, again, I'm going to go into my French. Tank and Shakur can't fuck with Devin. And what is the problem with you guys is y'all hate Devin for some reason because he don't got that hit or quitter power. So y'all side with Shakur and you side with Tank. Even though Devin is the undisputed champ. Even though Devin's the only one facing real serious competition. Tank on some circus shit. Okay? He making some nice events. But he ain't facing the kind of opposition that Devin has been facing. Devin's the only one who's truly been keeping to the real code of boxing. Shakur ain't done shit at lightweight. And Tank be on some circus shit. He always on some sideshow. That's how he making his money, off of events. Okay? So he look good, he get his knockouts. But Tank versus Devin is a totally different fight, man. Y'all know this. Tank versus Shakur is a totally different fight. And y'all know this. I'm what you need. I'm going to catch y'all guys later. Peace.